Here I am, guys, and I did great. About a month and a half ago, I don't know what it was now. Been too busy to keep up. When I started quitting weed, I thought, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll have success. Maybe I'll finally be able to do all that stuff that I wanted to do. All that stuff I was putting off, that I was afraid of. Maybe I'll finally be able to live depression free. Before I started smoking weed, I dealt with depression, I dealt with anxiety almost all my life. I didn't have a great early start in life. But, I feel like I was pretty much destined for addiction. Because in my early life I didn't get a lot of support. There was maybe some unintentional neglect in my life. People didn't know exactly what to tell me or what to show me, how to raise me. I was a bit of an unconventional child. And then, as high school came around, I found myself just not fitting in. And, I was stressed at home maybe more than a normal person would have been. But, I have to say, I don't believe that I have a mental dysfunction, a mental illness per se, no more than I believe that, I've had the illness of flu or the common cold or, a stubbed toe. To me, depression, anxiety, and addiction were just the product of something greater outside of myself. I don't believe that I'm broken. I don't believe that I was created inferior. If anything, I've had these problems because I wasn't created inferior. And, I've really been enjoying my life in the past few weeks. Past month and a half, I guess. I spent about 4 weeks working in this crappy factory job punching boxes. And it's a job that I've seen myself above for so many years. The ego, we build ourselves up so much so that we can just survive the constraints of our lives. But, I worked day in and day out, getting up every morning at 5 a.m. to go to this crappy job I didn't really want for a paycheck I felt I could have earned higher than. With some people that maybe weren't the most interesting. But I'm happy to say I did meet one friend there who I got to talk philosophy with and crack weird jokes and stuff. And, that was really helpful for me. Definitely other people are amazing. I get high off movies now, not the typical ones. Like, I get high off Peaceful Warrior, Lucy, Anima, The Celestial Prophecy. These are amazing movies. And, when I was going to work, obviously, I could have broken in at time. There's been a lot of jobs where I got in the job and then, a week or two in, when it starts to get, I start to feel mentally burned out from the monotony, that's when I turn to weed again. But, I came home every night. Sometimes I'd take a walk in the park. The one night I took off my shirt and my shorts and jumped in the lake. But every night I'd watch a cool movie. And, the enlightening kind of movies. There's just some really great stuff. I Am. It's a great movie. About what's wrong with the world and how can we fix it. But the one I really suggest you watch is called Anima. Not like the kind you put up your butt. The other one with an A, like Carl Jung. Learning stuff has been really great too. Carl Jung's theories about ego, id, superego, shadow, self. Other things. Carl Jung's great. I started reading this book called Food of the Gods by Terence McKenna. I'm not sure if you guys know, I'm not sure if I put it in my videos, but you know, I'm proud to say that I'm very interested in psychedelics. You know, this last time quitting weed, you know, I'd been on a psychedelic journey for maybe 4 years now. And in this time, I've maybe taken psychedelics, I don't know, maybe 15 times, I want to say, in 4 years. So that's not a lot, you know. I'm obsessed with them, but I don't have a drug addiction. You know, I have a learning addiction. And, you know, I don't have to be on psychedelics for that to happen. If anything, they've opened my mind in ways that have permanently made me less interested in, you know, pleasure, desire, ego gratification, you know, distraction, and more interested in learning about psychology. As you guys know, obviously, I'm really passionate about mental health, about depression, anxiety, addiction. These are my three main facets. As someone who's highly interested in shamanism, you know, the way of the shaman is that you are able to heal people for diseases that you've yourself experienced and cured for yourself. And, you know, my method about going about curing things is a holistic approach, which means that, you know, I have an open mind and I'm willing to try things. So, you know, what happened a month and a half ago? Well, maybe I should start with the beginning of my psychedelic journey. About 4 years ago, my life was at rock bottom. You know, I'd been at a job for 9 months, 9 lunch breaks in as many times. I didn't like the job I was in. I didn't like the place I was living in. I was smart enough to know that, you know, each paycheck was going into the last. And, you know, with my weed habit, maybe $300-400 a month, maybe $600 a month, let's say, 7 with my girlfriend. You know, we didn't have any room for error. You know, we didn't get to do all the things we wanted to do. The time alone spent smoking weed was a lot. You know, it helped us with a lot of things, you know, getting over some trauma in our lives. But it got to a point where it wasn't helping anymore. And, you know, I really burned out. And I freaked out. I thought, this isn't the life I want to be living. And, you know, I blamed it on, you know, my job. I blamed it on my girlfriend especially. And, you know, I broke up with her at a really bad time. And this just sent my life in a downward spiral. You know, I let her down when she needed it the most. And so, about a year after that, maybe, you know, I'm living at my mom's house in Bobcaygeon, in the basement with my brother. My mom didn't live there at the time. And a few times I've gotten these manic episodes where I would, it's almost like, I don't know if you've ever gone to a funeral about someone that you cared about, and you went there and everyone was just treating it like this gaudy social event, and really sickened you, and then you walk around everywhere with your eyes open, totally appalled by the fact that people don't seem to care that someone who's really close to you just died. You know, someone that you love apparently no longer exists, and life goes on, and even the people in your own family don't seem to really comprehend it or care about it. This is how I was looking at life for a while. And I would break down and I would look at the world, and, you know, I couldn't help but look at it. I said to myself and to people around me, you know, it's fucked up, you know? There's so much wrong going on in this world. And, you know, I was freaking out. I'd just freak out the whole day. You know, I was screaming. I couldn't take it. You know, and, you know, this was when my psychotic breaks. So I hit the end of my rope and I was able to get some mushrooms from somebody, and maybe at the time I didn't realize what it was going to do for me. Maybe part of it was a self-destructive tendency. But whatever it was, I'm really grateful. Because, I experienced the mania that I was experiencing times 100, times 200 maybe, 250, 500, I don't know. It was intense. It was like 6 to 8 hours of insanity. And the insanity wasn't anything strange. It was just seeing my life for how it was. And, at another time that I did it, I yelled at the sky, why? Why did you ruin my life? What have I done? What have I done to deserve this? I've done my best. Why did you take this away? Why did you take that away? I wasn't religious. I had just gotten to the point where I didn't know where else to voice my concerns. I wasn't yelling at God per se, just the sky, the universe, whatever, the mushrooms maybe. But I remember it was my first spiritual experience, and I yelled all these things, and the answer that came back, why everything was messed up, was this wordless you. Everything good, everything bad was from me. I was responsible for it, and I'd chosen not to be. I'd chosen freedom over responsibility, not knowing that freedom without responsibility is like, gas without a car. You might not be using very much, but you're not going to get anywhere. It's like, no home payments without a home, And, from there, I remember after that first trip, I was reading voraciously. I thought, Jesus Christ, I've got to solve my mental health problem. And, I spent about a year after that just digging my way out. And I was still smoking weed every day, still trying to deal with all this new stuff I was comprehending, this incomprehensible suffering of the true reality that was my life. And so what happened after that is, I learned things about fitness, health, nutrition, sleep, perspective, and environment. I found that nutrition, fitness, sleep, perspective, environment, these were these 5 pillars, I called them. And I made a website, and I started writing some articles, and I really wanted to share what I'd learned. But it got to a point where I thought, alright, I'm still not happy. So I didn't want to share anymore until I learned more. I thought, it's great I got out of this manic depression, but if I'm not happy, if I'm not on my path, then, what does it matter? So, I researched more, and, eventually I came to LSD as well. And, I think that this has a lot of stigma on it. I've observed it. But, after a few different events, I've gone to some concerts and hung out with some friends. That was alright, but what I really enjoyed was going out to the park in nature, sitting under this big willow tree, looking up at the sky, the grass, the water, and, this is how I kind of rediscovered nature as a method of therapy. And this brings me to the near end of my story, which was about a month and a half ago. I took a tab of LSD, thinking, alright, this is it. This is going to be the time that I quit. I'd already known a bit about psilocybin and LSD's effect of anti-addiction. But I tried for maybe 3-4 years maybe to quit weed, but something just felt different this time. And what do you know, about 3-4 days later, I let myself run out of weed, dropped my bong in the garbage can, and, I just quit since. And every day I've been learning new things. I've maybe let my exercise go for a little bit because I've been reading so much and working and stuff. But now I'm a week away from going back to school for outdoor and adventure education. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a program for people with depression, anxiety, and addiction, as well as other things. I believe obesity is a truly mental illness as well. And I'm going to create a program for them. And I'm going to teach people skills, and I'm going to expose them to real challenges, teach them how to socialize, how to meet new people, teach them to walk outside the box. They might be interested in more than they think. And all within the therapy of nature. And I don't think psychedelics are necessary for this. I can't say that I really recommend it. It was a difficult experience, to say the least. But for me it worked. And it's worked for a lot of people at an unprecedented rate compared to other traditional therapies. But yeah, I don't think that it's necessary for everyone. I think it's part of who I am. I wouldn't say I'm a shaman, but I definitely identify that way as somebody that opens their eyes to cure their own illness so they can help others. And helping other people is definitely a really big part of my life right now. Realizing you're connected with nature, you're connected with people. What's destroying nature? I connect with nature really well. Animals come up to me and stuff. It's quite strange. But people affect nature. So if you want to have an impact on the world, help other people. And this is what drives my life right now. This is what makes my life feel meaningful. This is what cures my depression. The fact that, I can help somebody every day. And if I'm not helping somebody, I'm learning. I'm helping myself with something somebody else might have the same problem. I'm learning to, help more than just myself. Get more of an understanding than just enough to help myself. And it feels good. Peace out.